Hi, everyone. Welcome to today's What Can We Do information session. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Lisa Gold, she, her, hers. I am the executive director here at A4, and I am joined by Justine Lee, who is our program director. We're going to go through the slides today. Um, if you would like a copy, we can send those to you, so you don't have to frantically take notes. So we'll go through all of this, and then we'll have a Q&A session at the end, and we will be posting this information, this virtual webinar on our YouTube channel later for viewing in case you want to come back and revisit it. So let's get started, shall we? Okay. All right. So this is what we're going to talk about today. The context and opportunity, your eligibility, application, the selection criteria, the timeline, and then we'll answer your questions. So first off, hopefully all of you are familiar with A4, but if you are not, we are a 43-year-old nonprofit service organization dedicated to ensuring greater representation, equity, and opportunities for Asian American and Pacific Islander artists and arts organizations. And we do that through a number of programs and platforms, such as our bi-monthly town halls, grants that we give to artists, including What Can We Do, and advocacy work that we engage in to ensure equitable funding for the community. So we'll explain a little bit about What Can We Do, this program, and how it came about. So, it was started during COVID when everybody basically lost all of their income ability, and people were really isolated, and the community was under attack from the basically current and prior administration, blaming our community for COVID. And so we created this grant program for artists to regain a sense of agency, to show how valuable their work was, not only to them, to you, the artists, but to the community, and to show how powerful art and your practice can be. So, a lot of things haven't changed while we're not in lockdown. We do still face lingering challenges. And so we are looking to continue this program, to build a kind of safety net, a community of care. So as I noted, this program, so this will be our fourth iteration of this program, which started out, very small with $500 grants to.
It's our fifth, actually.
Oh, it's our fifth. Sorry, we've done four of these. So, again, starting in 2022, through this, we funded close to 100 artists who have executed over 165 projects in neighborhoods across the city. We've issued close to $100,000 in funding and will by the end of this round. And we've engaged over 90 community partners and collaborators, from small businesses to visitors to the Queens Botanical Center to seniors at Senior Center in Chinatown. And we've reached over 500,000 people through these programs. So just showing how impactful and powerful this program can be. Just a few examples of some of the past programs. One of our grantees, Art Against Displacement, had a creative demonstration during the annual Lunar New Year parade, where they created a dragon and infiltrated the parade to bring their message to one of the largest crowds in New York City, or in our community. There was also a ceramics empowerment workshop and a sewing workshop where people learned how to sew, embroider their names, and sitting around in sewing circles. So those took place in Chinatown. Another example of projects that took place in Flushing were workshops for teens and youth, very creative workshops, a poetry symposium, and a Chinese yo-yo performance, and a dance workshop series for seniors. And we launched a new initiative last year to offer care to the Palestinian creative community, because we know that funding streams are very hard to come by. And it is something that our community has expressed interest in. So that was new last year, and we will continue that again this year. There's just so many interesting and amazing projects that artists have initiated. So we encourage you to check out our website to get a full list of all of the projects so you can learn more. Um, this project is made possible by public funds from the Department of Cultural Affairs in partnership with the City Council, and specifically from council members Christopher Marte and Sandra Ung in Manhattan, Chinatown, and in Flushing, Queens. And we've also received support from the Ford Foundation to be able to fund the Palestinian creative community, and also a new addition this year, which is artist projects that build cross-cultural solidarity. Am I doing components, or are you doing components?
I can take it from there if you want me
Okay.
to. Yeah, I just want to make sure. Can everyone hear me? Okay, no echo. Okay, great. So I'm Justine. I'm the programs director, and I have been running the program for, now we're on our fifth cohort, and very excited for this. So I'm just going to walk through the components for the award. It's $1,500 in unrestricted cash, in two installments of $750. We also provide support in making connections to community organizations, if that's something you'd like. The requirements for the awardee are that the project engagement must take place between February 2nd and June 5th of 2026. There's also a mandatory virtual welcome meeting on February 5th. And in this meeting, we'll go over what's expected, ways that, A4 can support you, and also just some like protocols and language around talking about the award and the project engagements. We also have a midterm check-in in April that is optional and also virtual, and a final report that is due in mid-June, on June 12th. And lastly, a presentation as part of a public share out on June 16th. And this is also mandatory and in person. Okay, so those are the components. And the application is an online application. We use this software, this platform called JotForm. And the deadline is Tuesday, January 8th at 11:59 p.m. Eastern. And this is a very firm deadline. We are giving folks, about two months, and we intentionally have the deadline to be about a week after the new year, so that for folks, who may need that extra week after the holidays, really encourage you all to put this deadline on your calendar, and to not wait until the last possible second. Surprisingly, we've already received a number of applications, so there are some early birds in the pool, but would really highly encourage you to begin working on your application as soon as you have some time.
Especially if there's a situation like today when there's a Cloudflare outage, or
Yes.
your Amazon warehouse goes down. So you never know.
Totally. And the selection process will be executed by the A4 team based on the following criteria, which we'll get into a little bit later. But that is, the criteria are community impact, outreach strategy, project development creativity, and ability to commit viability. So we'll get into that in a bit. Now I'm just going to talk over eligibility. So the requirements, you must be a resident of New York City, residing in one of the five boroughs during the program period, so February through June of 2026. You must be 21 years of age or older. So that means born February 1st, 2005 or earlier. All artistic disciplines and experience levels are welcome. There's no prior organizing experience required. You must demonstrate willingness or interest in community work and care for vulnerable populations. And your project must benefit communities in Chinatown, Manhattan, or District 1, and/or Flushing, Queens, District 20, and/or support Palestinian creators and their communities, and/or strengthen AAPI and cross-cultural solidarities. So as you can see, this is quite inclusive. I think that many of the projects that we've gotten actually fall, um, benefit more than one of these communities, but it must just be at least one of these. Um, and the project must center community building, healing, reflection, and joy, and not be solely reactionary to crisis or protest. And lastly, it must take place between February and June of 2026. Okay.
Oh, sorry, one more thing I wanted to add was
Mhm.
that there does need to be a creative component to it.
Yes.
So,
Yes. Yeah, that's not included here, but hopefully that was kind of implied. But yes, there must be a creative component. Um, thank you, Lisa. And then we have this handy flow chart that our Danny, our communications director, created um, for folks to see if their idea, their project qualifies. This is something we've also shared on Instagram, so you can find it there. But just briefly showing it here. Okay, and so now I'm going to get into the application. So the application, we try to keep it as simple and straightforward as possible. We don't want you to spend too much time on this. In fact, that's probably why we were able to get so many early applications. It's pretty straightforward. I'm going to just talk through the different sections here. So we have personal information, demographic information, district eligibility, proposed project details, partnering with community orgs, supplementary information, and documentation. Okay, so let's get into that. So for personal information, this is what you would expect. We are looking for your name, your birth date. Again, you must be 21 years or older. Uh, your pronouns, but that is optional to share. Your email address and your phone number, because of course we'll need to contact you if you are selected. And you must also share your address of residence. Again, you must reside in one of the five boroughs of New York City to be eligible. Okay, and then personal. Oh, wait, hold on. Was there anything else here? Sorry, I had to move my screen. Okay, personal information continued. We are also asking you whether or not you've received the What Can We Do grant in the past, whether or not you've applied for the grant in the past, how you heard about the opportunity, and if it was other to elaborate. So this is just good information for us to have. Everyone is eligible to apply. Obviously, if you hit the requirements, if you've applied before, even if you've applied before and you've been awarded in the past, you are still eligible to apply. We just do give a slight preference to applicants who have not received the grant in the past. Okay, and now on to demographic information. This is also a shortened, we try to keep this as brief as possible, being mindful of like the times we're in and wanting to protect folks from sharing, anything that making sure they don't have to share anything that they don't need to. So we do ask for ethnicity information because that is, as an organization that serves API folks like this embedded in our mission, it's important for us to just be able to know who our applicants are. And we also ask for discipline. So both ethnicity and discipline are required. Um, we also this year have added a question around languages that you speak or understand, and that's optional. But it's helpful for us to know too as we're thinking about just the communities that we're serving in Chinatown and Flushing, um, and just in the evaluation process as well. Okay, and then district eligibility. So we do have a section here where we ask what community or communities your project hope to benefit. And so, these are the options here: Chinatown, Manhattan, Flushing, Queens, Palestinian creators and their communities within NYC, AAPI and cross-cultural solidarities and other. So they must be one of these four here, but there is a chance that maybe your project benefits folks in Chinatown, Manhattan, and also Sunset Park, Brooklyn. So in this case, you would mark Chinatown, Manhattan, and other, and then in the open field for other, you would specify Sunset Park, Brooklyn. Um, and then we also have a quick question here: do you reside in Chinatown, Manhattan, or Flushing, Queens? And there's a drop down where you can say yes, Chinatown, yes, Flushing, or no. That's just also helpful information for us to have. Um, and then the section where you get into your proposed project, we are asking for a brief description. 250 words max. We're asking that this be, yeah, succinct, clear. What are you doing with this project? What is the engagement? Um, I think just a couple lines here to get the point across. This is a description that we'll use in promotional materials. Obviously, if you're selected, um, there will be some time to make edits if needed, but please write this with our with that in mind. We also ask for dates if you have them. You can have exact dates. Some folks know already what dates they're thinking. Others just have a range. Like if you think, oh, this is going to happen sometime in May, you could say mid-May. It's just helpful to give us a sense of timing. And then we ask, how do you plan to reach the communities, partners, or collaborators involved in your proposed project? This helps us understand your outreach strategy, um, and your sense of, yeah, how to best reach community and folks who will be involved in making this project happen. And then this other question here is, how do you plan to engage community members long term beyond the program period? So this is one piece of criteria that we're really hoping to, you know, select a pool of artists who are really invested in these communities long term. And so this is a chance for you to share how you plan to do that. Okay. So then there's also another really exciting part of the What Can We Do grant is A4 offers facilitating introductions to community organizations. We have 6 approved organizations. These are folks who already know all about what can we do, have worked with us in the past, see the value in working with artists and creatives to, support and serve their constituents. And so we have 3 partners in Chinatown and 3 in Flushing. And in the application, you are invited to express your interest in being partnered with one of these organizations. We've got Chatham Square Public Library. In Chinatown, we've got Chatham Square Public Library, University Settlement, Hamilton Madison House, and in Flushing, we have Glow Cultural Center, Queens Botanical Garden, and YWCA Queens. And these are folks who, would be our, once we select the awardees, if the awardees have expressed interest in working with one of these organizations, we propose we send them a list of proposed projects, and then if they are interested, only if they are interested and the timing aligns, we make that connection. So we try our very best to match awardees with organizations, but it is not a guarantee. Um, if if a match doesn't happen here, we are also willing to think of other organizations that might be a good fit. Um, yeah, and I really, there's more information about each of these organizations in a document that's linked from the opportunity page and here as well. But I also encourage you to go to their websites, follow them on Instagram, take a look at what programs they're already doing. They're doing really great stuff working with older adults, with youth, with teens, with, the general public and immigrant communities. It's they're all doing great work. So take a look. And so in the application, once you've had some time to think about it, or maybe you already know, yes, you get to let us know whether or not you'd like to be matched with an approved community org, or no, you already have a community organization in mind, or no, your project does not require a community organization. If you already have a very strong network or your own communities, or connections through your work or your practice, you may not need to be matched. So this is just, you know, letting us know what direction and how you and what kind of support you need here. If you'd like to be partnered with an organization, with an approved org, we ask that you check 1 to 3 of your top choices. And then if you have, or if you have a community or community organization already in mind, we ask that you share with us more information about that organization. Just really basic info here, name of the community org, uh, where, what communities does this organization serve, their website, and whether or not you have an existing relationship.
Can I just add one thing,
Yeah.
Justine? I want people to know that working with a pre-approved organization is not mandatory. And if you choose not to work with one, it is not going to affect your score of your application in any way. So just wanted to put that out there.
Yes, totally. Thank you, Lisa. Yeah, it's we've found it really valuable because these organizations have, they have their constituents, they have existing programming that artists can plug into. So it saves a lot of time and in terms of like, marketing and promotion, like they have that built-in audience. And also space. So many, I mean, all of these organizations have space as well. So we know that can sometimes be hard to come by. Um, but again, yeah, it's not mandatory. Okay, and then we have a section for supplementary information. We're asking for a brief bio, 250 words or less. Um, in the past, we asked for a resume, but we found that a bio is sufficient in letting us know more about yourself, your practice, how you've, highlights your career and as an artist and or organizer. And if you are applying as a duo, we also have a space for an additional bio. We also invite you to upload your headshot. This is also required, and giving us permission to use this headshot if you are selected as an awardee in our public announcement. And there's also space for your website, Instagram, and other social media handle. Lastly, we to streamline the process of reviewing and selecting applicants, we do ask for documentation proof of New York City residency and proof of age up front in the application. So there are, you can include for documentation of New York City residence, you can include a lease, a residential lease document, utility bill, bank statement or bill with your name and address, credit card statement, etc. And with proof of age, pass, passport, state issued ID, and that also includes ID NYC. Yeah, I think that's it for application. Oh, yeah, just another reminder, the application is online on JotForm. And the deadline is Tuesday, January 8th, 2026. Okay, I was going to go into selection criteria now. So after an eligibility screening, so once we've, checked for your New York City residency and proof of age. We will be evaluating and selecting awardees based on these criteria: community impact, outreach strategy, project development creativity, ability to commit, and viability. We also wanted to mention that for our What Can We Do cohorts, we strive for balance across geography, population served, and artistic disciplines. And these factors are taken into account when we evaluate applications. So let's start with community impact. Questions we ask as we're reviewing applications are: will your project meaningfully support and care for AAPI or communities of color in relationship with AAPI communities? Do you have existing relationships or desire to build long-term connections with these communities? And do you understand the issues they face? For outreach strategy, we are looking for do you have a clear path to reach community members? Does your strategy align with your project scope and the goals and values of the communities you're serving? Project development and creativity. Does your project demonstrate innovation, imagination, and creativity? And will What Can We Do grant help you realize or shape your vision? And lastly, ability to commit and viability. Is your project achievable within the 4-month timeline? Okay. And also wanted to note a few preferences here. So projects that demonstrate an intention to build an ongoing relationship and engagement with the community are preferred. We are looking for folks who are already or looking to invest in their relationships with the community, whether that be in Chinatown, Manhattan, Flushing, Queens, Palestinian creative community, or in strengthening solidarity across cultures. We also have a preference for applicants who have not previously received the award, project engagements that are free, projects that make a local impact. We are not looking for fundraisers or projects that provide aid abroad. Okay. And the last thing before we go into Q&A is timeline. So this is the timeline. The applications opened last week. Today, November 18th, currently we are in our information session. You all have 2 months and some change to complete the application. The deadline is January 8th, 2026 at 11:59 p.m. Eastern. Once you receive all the applications and review them, we will spend a few weeks reviewing them, and we plan to select and notify awardees by the end of January. And then February is when the program kicks off. Awardees will be carrying out their projects between February 2nd and June 5th. We'll have a welcome meeting on February 5th. Again, that's mandatory and it's happening virtually. We'll also have an optional midterm check-in that's virtual in April, and final reports are due June 12th, and the public share out is mandatory in person, happening on June 16th. All right. I'm going to stop sharing my screen and we can begin taking questions.
Okay, we have we have two in the chat. So the first one is it possible to apply as a collective?
Yes, it is. We've had applicants and awardees who are, carrying out projects as a duo or as a collective, so that's perfectly fine. Just one thing to note is that there still needs to be one point person. So whoever's applying, that person will be receiving the funds, and they will be providing, the documentation for eligibility, their address, all of that.
Taxes.
Taxes.
There's a tax liability for this, so keep that in mind too.
Yeah.
So Celine asked, beyond the What Can We Do timeline, do these projects tend to scale, continue this work, and maintain the relationships with A4 and other community partners?
Yes, they do. Yeah. We've seen, a, a number of our awardees who have been matched with community orgs have gone on to continue working with those community orgs as teaching artists um, and and have you know created created workshops that they can then that they've refined through What Can We Do and made better and expanded and reached even more communities after the program period. Um, and in terms of working with A4, like we have a listserv of all our What Can We Do alumni, and we keep in touch and are regularly sending, events and opportunities for that group. And yeah, once you're a What Can We Do awardee, you're part of the A4 family and community, and so th those relationships continue. Um,
Yeah.
let's see.
So Ariel asked for a link to the listing of previous grantees in their project. So I dropped that in the chat for everyone. It's on our website under programs. Um, so under awards. Brittany asked, can we apply if we have two people affiliated with the A4 Artist Committee Board? Brittany, can you just explain a little bit about what their role is? This might be something that we need to talk with you about to get a better understanding. You can come off mute.
Hi. Oh, I don't know if you guys can see me. Can you hear me? Are you guys able to hear me? Oh, you could? Okay, sorry. Couldn't see a photo. Let me gallery view. I don't know specifically what they do, but it's can I see their names? Name the two people on your board. So it's Perry Young and George Hirose. I have to speak to them exactly. I know George is going to join you guys shortly. I guess I have to speak specifically to them about what they do, their involvement. And then yeah, we can I guess talk separately about eligibility. Should I guess I shoot you an email or okay, thank you.
The public share out is an opportunity for our What Can We Do awardees to each give a brief presentation of their project engagements, um, describe it, share a little bit about the impact for themselves as an awardee, but also, of course, the community members that they impacted through their engagement. And then we have, after the presentations, we have a celebration with some refreshments, and it's just an opportunity for the awardees, the A4 community, and our community partners to celebrate and just like be with each other. Hopefully that.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's open to the public. That's the public nature of it too. So we encourage our awardees to invite their friends, the community members they impacted through their engagements, um, and so forth. So
It's a really great share out. Eileen wants to know, is there a contact email that they can use for follow-up questions?
yes, and I'm going to drop it in the chat right now. It's programs@aaartsalliance.org.
It's also in the deck.
It's also in the deck, and it's also on the application and the opportunities page with all the application details.
Right. Okay. Lillian asked, is the grant limited to event-based projects? Can the funded project be production-based and designed for distribution in the community, such as an art book or printed publication?
Yes. Yeah, it's not limited to event-based projects. We've supported projects in the past that have been production-based, poster designs that were posters that were yeah, around mental health awareness that were distributed across Chinatown and Flushing in various languages. That's one example. And also a reading list at various bookstores to encourage folks to read books by Asian API writers. I will say, as long as it's very clear how your project is engaging or impacting the communities, we're open to all ideas, all creative ideas here.
So Toyo asked if one of the artist duo is a resident in New York City, but the other one is not a resident of New York City. Is it still possible for this duo to apply as a collective?
No, yeah, I mean,
I think you'd be better off applying as an individual and then bringing that person in to help you. But the funding is for New York residents. It's a big portion of this project comes from the New York City Council, which is to support those specific communities, their constituents.
and yes, thanks, Lisa. I also see a question from Fios. I think that's someone's internet network, but it's a good question. Can an individual applicant bring on project collaborators at a later stage? Do these details need to be confirmed or mentioned in the project application if not confirmed yet? No, this level of detail does not need to be included in the project proposal. I mean, you can mention that you plan to collaborate with folks, and but we don't need exact names or that level of detail. Yeah.
So Jessica has a question about the partnering organizations. Jessica, do you want to come off and ask?
Yes. Hi. Hi, everyone. Okay, so we have a project we've been working on for like 2.5 years, and it's wonderful and amazing. And we are searching for a new home. So when I've known and I've been to the share outs of this wonderful program. And so two things, of course, popped up when it came up. One, the funds, of course, in this tumultuous, crazy funding time. And then two, those amazing 6 partnering organizations. So I guess my question is like the chicken or egg kind of thing. Like we would love to connect with any of these 6 organizations, maybe multiple of them. And but I'm not sure how to select the 1, 2, 3. And then should I be reaching out to those organizations before we apply so that there's a conversation going? We have this production performing nationally in April and May, so we're like geared to bring it locally to as many places, Chinatown, Flushing, Sunset Park, all over. So I guess I'm just wondering like how to best navigate the application given our kind of unique setting and how to select those partnering organizations. Yeah. Is that a clear question? Oh, Lisa, you're on mute.
So sorry, Jessica, I think just identify the ones that you feel that you have the most affinity with.
Okay.
And just, if you are selected, it's possible that we can find others or, I would just, again, select the ones that you find most interesting.
Yeah,
Okay.
and you had another question, Jessica, about whether you should reach out to the orgs before applying.
Yeah.
There's no need to do that. In fact, it may cause confusion. We have a bit of a process that we've outlined to them, which is that we'll be sending them project proposals in early February once we've selected the awardees, and we'll go from there. So yeah, just like Lisa said, selecting organizations that best fit your project. And there are no guarantees, but there's also no like you're also not being held to that. If you're selected, we can always make adjustments with our awardees as we get closer to that. Yeah.
Okay. And then because we don't have like a specific date, that's okay. We're for
Yes.
this project. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you.
Sure. Karen asks if the artist is affiliated with the fiscal sponsor, how does one apply for the grant? Is it the artist or the fiscal sponsor? I would say this should just be the artist because your fiscal sponsor is going to take a percentage and it's a small amount and the reporting is minimal. So I would recommend applying as an individual. And Yadi asks, should all program sessions be free to the public or is it acceptable to charge a small donation-based ticket fee? So you can do whatever you want. As we noted, preference is given to programs that are free to participants, but you can structure it however you want in your application. Yes, Priya, let's see, we're sharing that. I think that's all the questions for now. Does anybody else have any other questions?
No other questions?
I have a question really quick. It's Priya.
Yeah.
I'm
Hi,
wondering,
Priya.
hi, it's good to see you all. Is it, I can turn my camera on too. I don't know what I look like. But hi everyone. Is it, I was thinking about continuing a project that I'd previously worked on this past summer. There was like more there, a lot more that I wanted to do with that community. And like because of the timing, like wasn't able to do all the things, which I could like share more about with you all later. But I'm wondering if it's possible to like use these funds like someone else had kind of like continue a seed that's already somewhat been planted in community. Um, yeah, or is this like really for like new like initiatives that are brand new?
It does not have to be a brand new initiative.
Okay.
As long as it, adheres to the eligibility requirements, you don't have to invent something new from whole cloth. It can be something you've
Okay.
already been working on.
Okay, perfect. That's what I had to ask. Thank you. Thank you all so much. And yeah, I'm excited to look at the slides later. I know I missed the first like 5-10 minutes, so I'll check those out later too. Thank you both.
Great. And we'll also have the video on.
Yeah, and I do want to mention though, that based on past experience reviewing applications, we do get quite a few applications where community feels like an afterthought. And so I just want to really emphasize again that the project, it's essential that the project in some way engages, shows care and support to AAPI communities and other communities in solidarity with AAPI communities. And so I'll just give a quick example. We've had proposals like, oh, I have this documentary film that I'd like to screen. And I'd like to their proposal is around screening the documentary film in Chinatown, and that's their proposal. That's the community engagement, asking questions of the audience. To me, that is a bit thin in terms of really thinking thoughtfully about how to show care with the community. And so I just want you all to be aware that I completely understand that like funding is far and few between for artists right now. And but I just really strongly encourage you to um, think about that community element uh, and make it very clear in your application what that is. Because we can't like read your mind. We need to know very directly like how do you plan to care for the community through your creative practice. Okay. Thank you. Yeah. Anything else? If not, we'll be following up with slides, a link to the recording, as well as a link to the application. And you'll also have my email. So yeah, feel free as you're working on your application, if any questions come up, to reach out. And we really look forward. Oh, yeah.
We have one question from Ellen.
Yeah, so Ellen, oh, Lisa was muted, but I can just repeat what Lisa said. Yes, we will accept a resubmitted application. What you can do, Ellen, is just submit a brand new application. Hopefully you have some of what you already did saved somewhere so that you can just copy and paste and make some changes. And if you could just email me and let me know you've done that so I can make sure to delete the old application and really just and make sure we review the new one. Oh, I see more questions.
Anna wants.
Hi, Anna. So I would say if you're applying as a collective, you can just um, if you have a bio or a description for your collective, you could put that in the main bio field. And if you want to kind of elaborate or call out a specific individual artist, like the main contact for the application, then you can do that, or vice versa. I mean, it's as long as we have that information, um, it should be fine. Yeah. Okay. It looks like everyone has their questions answered. And thank you again for joining our information session. And we look forward to your applications.